Okay, this is day 7, and I'm on the road from on the train to Mainz. And guess what? We're going right by the Lorelei here. So I thought I would get some quick movie of this area. There's the Burg cots over there. We're coming into Sankt Gore. Having problems. Coming into Sankt Gore. This thing keeps kicking out on me. Oh, I know why. And we'll soon be going by the Lorelei. How about that? Where we started out. Okay, there's the Burg cots up there. And oh no. We're going through the tunnel right across the line from the Lorelei. Oh, there's the campers, and over there is the Lorelei. The Lorelei, get down, there it is. The Lorelei. See the sign that says Lorelei. Oh, not so good. Well, anyway, that's where it all began. Where this trip all began. So, the deal is we're going to be headed into Frankfurt and then over to Mainz. So we'll say goodbye to the Rhine. Okay, just a little more video going through the along the Rhine. You can see over there the beautiful figures, I should say. Back on my side of the train more vineyards. And there's vineyards everywhere. Through here. Yeah.
Fahrgäste, nächster Halt in wenigen Minuten dann Bingen am Rhein. Diese Reisemöglichkeit, Regionalexpress nach Frankfurt. Abfahrzeit 10:43 Uhr, Gleis 202. Vielen Dank für die Curiosity. Tschüss, bis bald. Auf Wiedersehen. Dear passengers, next stop in a few minutes. Bingen. Next stop, Bingen.
coming into Bingen, but I thought I'd show you that really cool castle over there. Now look at those grapevines. Goodness gracious. I don't think anybody got on our part of the train at Bingen. Okay, hotel-wise, I definitely saved the best for last. This is Mainz, and this is, by European standards, a huge hotel room. All my other hotel rooms have been little things, which is fine, I don't care. But this is luxe. Now, why am I staying in Mainz? Well, first of all, there is the Mainz Cathedral. Secondly, there's the Gutenberg Museum. Thirdly, it's only 30 minutes to the Frankfurt airport. Well, if you stay downtown Frankfurt, it's also 30 minutes to the Frankfurt airport. And staying by the Frankfurt main train station, that place is terrible. I mean, there's just all kinds of derelicts running around, and like I said earlier, people out in the street from Africa having a fist fight. So I decided to spend 2 nights in Mainz. Today I'm going to see the sights of Mainz, which basically amount to the Dome and the Gutenberg Museum, and then tomorrow see some Frankfurt sights, come back here, spend the night, get up real early, and go to the Flughafen. Does that sound like a plan? That has been the plan, and it remains the plan. Well, this band is here to welcome me to the lovely city of Mainz. These guys are from Ulm. I don't know if you remember, Jan, and you and I went to Ulm. I'll never forget it. Okay, I've moved back here in between, actually I should say right next to a bus, because there's a lot of wind out here, and I'm so annoyed with that stupid windproof microphone of mine that pooped out on the very first day. That doesn't sound like a very good German march to me. I think these guys are part of the German armed forces. Oh well. Wind or no wind. There's the flautist. snapping their fingers. Come on, we want some Prussian marching tunes. Alright, enough, I'm going to the cathedral. Notice this is their symphony hall and opera hall that these guys are in front of. There's a list of the upcoming operas and concerts. Well, I thought I'd stick around just long enough to see if they're going to do a march or not. You can hear the cathedral back there bonging in the distance. These guys take a long break between songs. Must be union rules, huh? Come on, let's get it on. What, they're leaving back for their buses. Oh, so much for that. Nice job, guys and gals. But that's not exactly going to inspire me to march off to war against Putin. That happy, happy music. We need marching music. Anyway, here's one of the main reasons I came to Mainz, is to see that beast, the Mainz Cathedral. Lots of history was made there. Holy Roman Empire. I believe that for some number of years the elections of the Holy Roman Emperors were conducted there, although they were later moved to Frankfurt. Unfortunately, you know, I don't have a perfect recall of that. And you're never going to really find much history in guidebooks around here. Just isn't there. I mean, just look at this place. We're in the market square below it. That is a big guy, for sure. Now, before we go in the church, just check this monument out. It's very cool. There's Maria up top with baby. A couple of bishops. Some sea monsters. And then here's the market area. Is this gorgeous or what? Now in the middle of the square there's this cool Roman column, and there's a recitation of some of the history of Mainz. I took stills of that. And of course it was bombed into smithereens in February 1945 by the good guys, right? Talk about useless destruction. So this cool monument is talking about the year DXXV1. That would be 1026. It's like something about Carl, Caesar Carl, but there will be time to learn more about the history of this place. I mean, it's just like Springfield, which is to say, it's like the Springfield Farmers Market. Look at those yummy grapes. And look at the yummy bees enjoying the yummy grapes. Anybody in the mood for some kale? Look at all this stuff. Beans, taters, carrots, all manner of good stuff. All this, ooh, look at those tomatoes. All of it right by the dome. And there's even more yummy stuff here. They have fish, they have meat, brot, all kinds of good stuff. Wurst. Now, up ahead of me is a group of American touristas, probably Viking tours or something like that. Shall I join them? I don't think so. Now I'm trying to find my way into the dome, but I'm not sure if this is going to take me to the dome or to the Dome Museum. There's some old stuff here. People buried, and you can't even read who they are anymore. Interesting to see that script up there. Well, this isn't the way to the dome because that entrance is blocked off. Here's a nice monument to a bishop. I think these are all done in red sandstone, which might account for their terrible condition. I can't read the script, so I can't tell you what years are involved here. Okay, I gave in and came to the Dome Museum, and boy am I glad I did. By the way, these are scenes in the life of Saint Sebastian, because I got a really good guidebook, excellent guidebook for €5, so I can go through this fabulous cathedral. These date from 1490. If up there is that St. Paul. Okay, so this cathedral is the Church of St. Martin, and there is a nice sculpture of St. Martin cutting his cloak in two. This one dates from around 1537. ask you, what is this doing up here? At 2 Mainz Cathedral. And here is the pictures. I mean, come on. And that disgusting display is right next to this gorgeous tapestry from 1501. Now, do you remember the Wild Man painting from Wimpfen? Here's a Wild Man tapestry. From 1450 to 1470. I think the Wild Man one in Bad Wimpfen was roughly contemporaneous. That is crazy, man. Quick shot of this part of the museum. And as you can see, it's in a building that's right adjacent to the main cathedral. So here are a number of statues that have been removed from the cathedral and brought in here. I'll go see if there's any highlights. Well, this one's kind of interesting. It's a crucifix from 10th century. It came out of Worms. When the Worms Cathedral was burnt in 1649. Somehow this thing was saved and brought down here. Well, now here's an interesting picture from 1520. It's the death of Mary. But look here. Looks like the Assumption. So she'd been taken off her deathbed. Bodily form? I'm not sure. Not being a Catholic, I don't know these things. Another disgusting and heretical picture of what vestments would look like if worn by women. Of course, that's just the Catholic Church of Germany, which is incredibly heretical, and they don't have some old gal like, you know, the women my age now. It's some young babe, half naked in her vestments. All right, we're getting to the real good stuff here. This is early Christians in Mainz. This is a gravestone from a soldier in the year 400. That's from 1120. That's not so old. Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to have to look through here and just select a few highlights. Now, these are excavations in the old cathedral that this one was built on top of. It would have looked like that around the year 900. Oh, this is very cool. A model of what it would have looked like here in 1009, in 1239, 1500. And in 1975, which is about like now. And the reason it's gotten smaller isn't the bombings. The reason it's gotten smaller has to do with changes made in 1767 or so. About the time George Washington was running around in Pittsburgh starting the French and Indian War. So these are just some cool pieces from the dome, carved around 1240 or thereabouts. I'm not going to let this detain me much longer. We got to get into the dome itself. Here's more heretical. Pornhub meets the Mainz Cathedral. And what is wrong with these people? I understand girls wearing that kind of stuff. But putting it in a religious museum, really? Among these great masterworks. And here's their take on what a female pope would wear. Like, really? Now there's a severe looking fellow. Let's see, when's he from? I can't tell. It looks kind of like a praying garden ornament. Maybe 1260, I'm not sure. The sign is ambiguous. Now this is a photograph of a famous sculpture in, hopefully it's in the cathedral. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come here. This is the Archbishop of Mainz, and he's crowning all these kinglets. This is during the interregnum after the death of Frederick II. What was it, 75 years or something like that. And the Archbishop of Mainz had tremendous power and just went around appointing and crowning kinglets. I hope that thing is in the cathedral. So, orienting ourselves in space. This color-coded map shows what was constructed when. So the burnt orange is 1009. The purple is 1100 to 1125. The red is 1137. The green is 1190 to 1239. And the blue is Gothic. I take it means after 1239. So, the oldest part of the church then is basically that way. And this central aisle here up to the high altar is 1100 to 1125. The high altar is beginning in 1190, but of course a lot of the decorations up there are much later, because you build the church and then you add the decorations later. One of the things I wanted to see here is this. I have seen this thing in several books on the Holy Roman Empire, and it shows the Archbishop of Mainz Adalbert crowning these kinglets. Now, this happened during the bad days of the Holy Roman Empire after the Hohenstaufen, Frederick, Manfred, and Conrad were done away with. Either, well, in Fred's case, he died of sickness, but the other ones were killed by the French. So there was a long interregnum starting in, 1250, where there was no Holy Roman Emperor, and the archbishops really took over, had a lot of power. They could appoint kings, and that's what you're seeing here. So the kings in question, according to my trusted guidebook, are John of Bohemia, Henry VII of Luxembourg, and Ludwig der Bayer, Ludwig of Bavaria. There's no question that the Holy Roman Empire was at a pretty low point. Actually, the truth is it never really recovered after the Hohenstaufen. So moving from there, we see a pretty cool lion. And we can walk down here. My little book here is very useful. We're not going to look at all this stuff, but we're going to look at some of it. Now here's an even earlier kingmaker statue, Siegfried III from Epstein, who actually died the year before Frederick died, 1249. Here he is crowning, or claiming the right to crown two kings, these being Heinrich Raspe and William of Holland. So even before the interregnum, some of these archbishops were crowning kings. Then again, before the interregnum, you got to go back 200 years before that, back in the 1100s, and back to Charlemagne, in fact. The emperor could name the bishops, so there was a back and forth, but clearly by 1200, the church reached the pinnacle of its power vis-a-vis the Holy Roman emperors. If you notice on this picture, the archbishop is standing on a couple of dragons. The thing he's wearing on the front is called the pallium. It's a present from the Pope, given only to the highest archbishops. Back to our friend Peter. He too is wearing a pallium, and he too is standing on lions. What's comical about this and the other one is how subordinated the kings are to him. He's the big guy in the picture, and the kinglets are just the little guys. Now this is an interesting one. This is a memorial to St. Boniface. St. Boniface was the guy who was largely responsible for the conversion of the Germans. But he lived. He died in 754. This monument was erected 600 years later. Interesting, eh? Inschrift. Let's see, 1357, Year of the Lord, has the High Bishop Gerlach honored, I guess it is, in blood. Blood? in honor. Das Grabmal has something to do with the grave. Oh, that he opened up. I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, of Bishop Boniface. So I'm just going to continue roaming through here. If I find something which I believe is particularly photogenic, I'll let you know. Lo and behold, here's one. This is an altar of Master Valentinus from 1492. So while Columbus was sailing the ocean blue, Master Martinus was doing this scene, which again is like the other ones we've seen. It shows some leaders of the town, presumably, surrounding, well, there's Mary, of course, and probably Mary Magdalene. Oh, maybe it's not leaders of the town. But anyway, we've seen several other of these on our trip. Very popular motif in old Germany. We'll just take a minute here to admire this church. I had to laugh. There was a sign back there that said, "The church is not a museum. Like hell, it's not a museum." Like I said, these archbishops of Mainz, Cologne, Trier, they were electors. Well, they ended up being electors of the Holy Roman Empire after, 1400 or something, when they adopted the electoral system. These guys had tremendous power, tremendous amounts of land, tremendous armies, dukes, kings kissing their rings. And this is where they did their thing. And you're not going to find any secular buildings from the 1200s anywhere in Germany. Because in those days, the emperors did progress as they went around the empire. So, I mean, you'll see castles like the one we saw at Bad Wimpfen, but there's nothing this massive. The accumulation of the sweat of lots of peasants over lots of years. Now I'm over on the right side of the church, and we can just look way to the top. I wonder if that stonework was decorated before this place was wrecked in 1945. And I'm not sure the extent to which it was wrecked in 1945. I know the town was attacked. And to think that the Third Reich surrendered just a couple months later. You may have noticed there's very little stained glass. This is 20th century stuff. Trying to reflect, I guess, the horrors of war. And it was horrible. I mean, surely, when this town was bombed to smithereens, it took out all the windows of the church. Who knows, maybe in succeeding generations some of this glass will be replaced with something better, but I doubt it because I think the church is on its last legs, certainly for the foreseeable future. Check out this beautiful portal. This is on the left side of the church. By the way, behind that door which is closed. I can't go in. There's a fabulous wood sculpture called Memory. We're going to miss out on memory. Okay, so this is interesting because here we're getting into some later stuff from the 17th and 18th century. Look at that dude. And that nice skeleton over there. And the green Grim Reaper over here. Crazy. By the way, that guy, Dom Probst von der Leyen, died in 1714. And here's a monument to a provost. I'm not sure what a provost is. Maybe there's a local university. That guy, Provost K.E.F.R. von Breitbach. Anyway, he died in 1743. This was installed in 1775. Here's another one, a later one. Monument to Johannes something K from Ostine, 1763. You know, I would say all these bishops look pretty well fed. Maybe I could have been a bishop after all. So the bottom line appears to be the monuments in the back of the church are by and large earlier than the ones at the front of the church. So that is the fabulous Mainz Cathedral, seat of a lot of ecclesiastical power, political power. Check out that high altar. That's all pretty Baroque looking. Okay, enough. I've seen now all the great cathedrals of Germany. When Jan and I were here a few years ago, we did Worms and Speyer. Now we've done Mainz, we've done Trier, we've done Aachen, and Cologne. I think we've seen most of them. I have no need to go cathedral shopping again in Germany, that's for sure. There's some putties up there mourning the death of another well-fed archbishop. Can you imagine what Martin Luther thought of all this? Jeez. Now this is interesting because it shows another fat bishop, but this one shows the lands that he apparently ruled. He was an elector. Look, he's got the pallium. And there's this thing in Latin that describes him. There's some dates in there. 1675, electo. He's got a nice little mustache too. He looks like he could have been a tuba player in an oompa band. Yeah, the guy we just looked at. Damien Hartard von der Leyen. That's him. Let's see, they have their little coats of arms of all these bishops. And that's our guy. The tuba player. Now there's a nice sculpture of St. Michael putting his spear into the devil. It's part of an altar that's all the way at the back of the church on the right hand side. And here's a very nice contemporary sculpture. I'm not sure if that's, I guess it's Jesus on the cross. Very well done. 1998. So as we come out of this place, here is again the central market square. All right, now we got to go find the Gutenberg Museum. Now that's cool. That's a statue to the men of Poland and the Gdansk shipyard, I guess. This was dedicated on May 8, 1995, 45 years after the capitulation of Hitler. I'm not sure if the Iron Man is honoring the people who fought Hitler or the people who fought the commies, but in any case, it's a pretty cool statue. So that's the Gutenberg Museum. It was mildly interesting. One part was extremely interesting. That was the several Gutenberg Bibles they have in their collection. That was very interesting. They have it in a giant walk-through safe, safe from an atomic bomb probably. And then there were a bunch of machines and a bunch of old books, old books were really cool. But I never did get a sense of how the Gutenberg press worked. There really wasn't any explanatory material, but I guess that's why we have the internet. Anyway, it was worth going in, for sure. And here is a beautiful and extremely fragrant, I might add, municipal garden. Look at all those nasturtiums. I didn't even know nasturtiums would grow up like that. But they seem to be the dominant plant around here. There's a pigeon down there looking for something. This town is very, what can I say? It's very sedate, very laid back. Not at all like Frankfurt, which is crazy. But tomorrow we're going to go to Frankfurt. And that'll be the last day, and then the day after tomorrow, we go back to Chicago. One last little video of the Mainz Cathedral. What an impressive place. And the square, it's largely emptied out from where it was before, that's for sure. So there's old Gutenberg. This is where the band was playing this morning. And there's Gutenberg. And there's the cathedral. And that pretty much sums up Mainz from a tourist perspective. Here he is. It's kind of like Vicenza. Vicenza has Palladio. This place has Gutenberg. Springfield has Abe Lincoln, kinda. Except Abe couldn't wait to get out of there, and Gutenberg stayed here, as I can tell.